long hopper hook and a 5/32 olive. This one's the mottled olive plummeting tungsten bead, and I'm going to wrap point, what is it, 0.015 lead wire on the hook shank. Push it up behind the bead. And I screwed that up. Alright. Tying my thread behind the wire. That's just so I don't screw it up and get it all ganked up inside this bead. And I'm just going to add a little Zappaga to the lid. And then do my wraps. Really kind of get it in there. Alright. And move your thread back to about the hook point. And for the tail, I'm actually going to use these partridge, like the skins. I'm going to use these tail feathers back here. There's never like a really good use for them, you know, other than, I guess the green drake nymph itself has like really fine modeling, and there's really nothing out there that can simulate it real well except for partridge, just because the modeling on these is so fine. I'm going to take like a good little chunk of it there. The reason I'm using that is just because they're long. Tie it in, get my length here. Green drake nymph tails seem quite a bit longer than the dry fly after they hatch. Alright, got that down, and now real quick I'm going to just take a hook pack or anything I got laying around, put it underneath the, I don't know where you can see that, put it underneath the partridge and mark it green. Give her a little blow dry here, and that will give us our color we want. That's like a light green, and I'm going to split it into 3. Once you mark it, it kind of like separates them too for you. So once I got 3 evened out, I'm going to take some UV cure. And put it on each kind of leg of the 3. Looking good there. And just make sure you like where they're at, because as soon as you torch it, it is a permanent fixture. You can see how just that glows bright green now. Okay, perfect. Alright, for the body, got some medium wire, one yellow, one green. I don't know, I guess technically it'd be for the overbody. And I'm going to make sure I tie them on, one on either side. And this is the important part on this nymph. These green drakes are really, they're almost look square, like a square body, and it's a freaking big body. And they've got, when you saw the picture, they're like spiny almost. It's weird, man. They're almost like stonefly looking, you know, but they're spiny and they're wide and they have these like ridges that come out of the side, and that's what this is going to emulate. Give her a good tie-in, and you can see how, you know, big that nymph was, but we kind of got a skinny body going, and I'll show you why here. So I'm going to take, once I find it, that I just had some peacock tinsel. This is mylar tinsel. It's orange on one side, it's peacock on the other. It doesn't really matter what size, you know, you don't want it too small, just so you don't make a million wraps. This is size 14. Tie it in with the orange side out. And then when you wrap it, over the peacock side, it'll flip over to the peacock side. We're going to go about halfway. These guys have big wing cases on them. Alright, now for the fun part. We're going to braid this wire over the top of this body. So I'm going to take the olive and go over the top. Take the olive, go over the top, take my yellow, wrap the olive, and come down on the bottom. So I've looped it. Olive over the top, underneath the yellow. Pull it nice and tight over the top. Yellow comes down over the top and back underneath. And if you see I'm not weaving this tight, I'm leaving a gap, and you'll be able to see that gap here real well in a sec. You can't really see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go back up top so it doesn't look all ganked up. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, yellow. Olive over the top. I just tied one of these like perfectly too, but that camera came on and okay, now tying this off, I'm going to tie the one closest to me first, which is the yellow. Olive I'll just kind of loosely put down here. Tie it off as well. And what I just did by cutting this medium wire with my scissors is definitely not recommended, but I have no idea what I did with my wire cutters. This place is kind of a mess right now, so there you have it. Alright, so there's our woven body right there. I don't know, you can probably see that pretty good actually. So I'm going to take a little bit of UV cure and go over the top. Not much, you know, just a little bit to even it out, torch it. And I'm using the Pro UV just because it just seems like the most durable, really. It's the most flexible by far. I mean, it's way more flexible than any of the others, but it just seems to, on wire and stuff that doesn't have, just stickier. I don't know how to explain it, but it just seems to be way more durable than the others. But one thing about the Pro, and any UV cures, not top coats, you've got to rub them down, so I've got a little alcohol swab, and this will take off the tackiness. Just swab it down with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. There's a big difference between a UV cure, like a head builder and that kind of stuff, and a top coat. So we'll be using some fluorescing flow as a top coat on the wing case. You'll see that coming up. But that's not a builder. That's almost more just like a head cement. So you want to kind of know the difference between the two. If you're building baitfish heads or anything like that, you're going to run through a bottle of that flow in a big hurry. Whereas you know, an actual builder like the Pro Flex or the Loon Thin or Thick actually is made to build up those heads. So real quick, I'm just kind of putting some dubbing here to just kind of even this out, because when we put in our first little wing pad, it's going to hit the edge of this wire here. It's going to have a hard time like laying down real well. So I've got a piece of thin skin in black. And I'm going to cut it, I'm going to fold it, and it's pretty thin. It's about as wide as the body there. I'm going to cut it like a caddis wing, but not like as aggressive. There's a shiny side and a dull side. I'm going to put the dull side down. Just put a little wing pad there. And then tie it down, fold it back. See where we're at here. Alright. So now just kind of pretend to fold it over like it's your wing case and take a look at it there and see if yeah, that's pretty good. Now what you can also do, and I'll do it on this one, is cut it. Well, you don't even have to cut it really. I need some yellow here. Sorry, wasn't prepared to do this. Actually, we can use these pheasant tail fibers. This will work great. So I've got some yellow dyed pheasant tail fibers. And you remember all that modeling, and this is going to work out perfect. Tie these in at the top. Right in the middle, tie back our wing case. Go first legs. There's no legs out there really that have the amount of, I think, just straight up fine modeling at this level. So I'm using these fly enhancer legs just because the glitter in them kind of acts as modeling, and so I'm gonna put one on either side here. Cut it. Time down, and then it's important to, real quick before you get any further, fold over the wing case and make sure that you didn't capture these legs and they go straight forward. So when you fold over your wing case, make sure they're going the direction you want them to. I'm going to take some peacock ice dub. Tie that in. Pick a point for our second set of legs here. Like I say, the reason I'm wrapping back over the dubbing is simply so when I tie in these legs, it's not a pinch point. Excuse me, it's not a pinch point, and my legs actually kind of have a good V to them this way, instead of it keeps everything kind of wide, wide open. So you can see it's kind of got this good V shape to it. If it was a pinch point, it would just go together, and we wouldn't get our legs looking very good. You almost saw it just like that, actually. Alright, some more ice dub. And you can see I'm dubbing this on pretty thin and tight, so we can pack in there real tight. Go up to the head here. Take a few wraps behind the head. Fold over the wing case, and when you get this thin skin wide, it wants to bind, so I'm going to kind of, I got two loose wraps, I'm going to pull it and then come down with it tight. That way it doesn't bind on itself and kind of create a fold. I'm going to take the pheasant tail fibers, flatten them out with my pointer finger, and just give them 2 wraps, twist them, cut them really close. And give myself a whip finish here. And then a round cut over the bead. And then trim the legs. I don't want the legs on this one like crazy stonefly legs. I want it pretty manageable. Okay. Pro UV over the top. Again, the most durable. I'm getting kind of low here. Alright. Just a little coat. Torture. $15. Now I'm going to take the fluorescing, the Loon fluorescing UV clear fly finish. And again, like I said, this is a top coat. I'm going to hit it with that. Maybe a little, there we go. You can see this stuff, how bright that is. So it adds just this awesome like little hot spot. And then, last but not least, I'm going to hit this whole thing with an alcohol swab. Just because I didn't get the flow like all the way around. So I just want to make sure I take off any of that tacky stuff that may still be on there. Alright, there you have it. Awesome, awesome bug. Green drake nymphs are friggin' massive creatures. I mean, you could even go to an 8 in one of these hooks. I mean, the one in the picture that you saw was, I mean, just huge. I mean, it was almost the size of a golden stone nymph. And just huge bug. So anyway, don't be afraid to go big with these guys, because the fish, they sure know how big they are. So anyway, thanks for watching.